Καλημέρα. Χαίρετε.
Να του δώσουμε ένα χειροκρότημα γιατί έχει λίγο άγχος και λίγο track.
Ναι, πολύ το track.
Είναι, ο κύριος Κτενιάδης είναι ο άνθρωπος που έχει ανοίξει την Golden Visa στην Ελλάδα, να σας πω. Ό,τι θέματα έχετε εδώ είναι, να τα πείτε. Ελάτε κύριε Κτενιάδη.
We're gonna have this panel in English, so I would like to call to the stand the participants with alphabetical order. Mr. Ahmed Abbassi, CEO and founder of Greca Developments. Mr. Vicky Guan, the executive director of Hestia Group. Whatever you want. Mr. Dmitry Larin, the co-founder and CEO of Renty Development. And Mrs. Ειρήνη Pισογιanνάκη, director of sales and asset management of MIBS Group. Hello. So we're all here. The way we're going to go through, through some generalized information regarding the program. Then we're going to go in some more details because I think that's what the audience want to hear from us, to go some details and go through some operational matters that we are facing daily and the challenges regarding the program. And then we're going to go to a Q&A. All right, so we'll go with the ladies first. And the question that we have is the Golden Visa still a decisive driver for foreign investments in Greece in 2026? Or has Greece become attractive on broader investment fundamentals, Mrs. Pισογιanνάκη?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. It's always a pleasure and a pleasure to be here with my fellow speakers. Well, Greece is no longer just a golden visa destination. Initially, the interest of the investors was for the golden visa. But now we can see that the investors are coming here and they are looking for broader fundamentals, such as the banking credibility, the growth, the stability of the economy, the new infrastructures. So the investors, they are looking beyond the golden visa. Of course, the golden visa opened the door for the investors to come here, but Greece is fundamental. They are keeping the investors in the room.
Mr. Guan?
Καλημέρα σας, κυρία Kikilios. I don't know if I'm correct in Greek, okay. Nice to meet you. So according to the questions, I think now also as I told to my customers, Greek Golden Visa still is one of the most attractive projects all over the world. It's not only like for visa, but also real estate investments. So it's very competitive actually now still in the world. It's my opinion.
Mr. Abbassi?
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here every year. So, as my colleagues stated, one of the initial drivers used to be the Greek Golden Visa. It is still a main driver, but you see the mentality of the investors changing. For example, we have Golden Visa investors who have bought properties 6 and 5 years ago and even more. They are still investing in Greece. It was simply a foot in the country that gave them the confidence to explore further. We have investors who are looking at hospitality opportunities. A lot of those started off as Golden Visa buyers, but have developed interest in the country, and they have seen how the regulations and business landscape improve over time. And this was a big incentive for them to move part of their business from abroad here to Greece, move part of their capital to Greek banks, and to invest further in Greek real estate, whether they are more apartments or developing projects themselves, such as hospitality projects in some of the Greek islands, but even in the center of Athens, where they see opportunities and potential for serviced apartments offered to the Greek real estate long-term rental market as well. So in the beginning, it was golden visa, and still it is a main driver, but we see the attention shifting beyond. There is a lot of opportunity in the market here for foreigners.
Mr. Larin.
Hello. I fully agree with the colleagues. So, as I used to say to some of our clients and investors, Greece is a great country with a quite bad marketing, because of around the globe, the people mostly remember the struggling of the economy in 2008, 2011, and there was no other news. So no one knows that GDP of Greece grows twice faster rather than average in Europe. No one knows that the government budget is aligned and profitable, and it's only 4 countries in Europe Union that...
Many Greeks do not know that, sir.
Oh, really? Okay, so dear Greek citizen, your country is great because of the government made a great job. So only you and Denmark, the proper countries in Europe, have the balanced budget, and you earn more rather than you spend as a country, and it's great opportunity. So I agree with colleagues that, let's say 2020, it was the emergency for Greece to start golden visa, but currently it's a first step for the foreigner investors who really willing to come here because of the economy is quite healthy and regulation as well.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to the second topic of discussion. And the question is, how has the profile of foreign investors in Greece changed in the recent years? Who is buying in Greece today, and from which markets? I will start now with Mr. Guan.
Okay, so actually, when we came to here, we started a business. Chinese still is a big occupation of Greek golden visa, but also our company, we are open our global business, and especially starting from this year, we see the occupation of the Chinese, they are going down. Because according to our culture, our country, like the economic now, they are going down a little bit. So the Chinese are holding the monies. They didn't feel very rushed and very free to proceed about the projects. So who is the new buyers now in the whole countries? Also for me, like this years, I travel a lot of country and analyze a little bit all the market. Like now we find out in the Asian market, maybe Vietnamese, in Thailand, this area, they are starting to growing up because their situation is like what China happened like 5 or 10 years ago. So they starting a little bit hot in this market. So another country, maybe like, let's say Indian, and maybe still keeping the Turkish and Egyptian that used to be very hot. So they are, because Chinese is going down, so this occupation of those countries, they are going up a little bit. This is what I will say for this market now. Yeah.
Mr. Abbassi.
Great. So the profile, I believe your question is mostly on the profile, but also I will mention the nationalities. So at least for us, the biggest reach we have and the biggest inflow we see is from the Egyptian market because of our background. I'm originally from Cairo, Egypt. So this is the biggest market we are exposed to. But of course, we also see an inflow from Turkish buyers. We see now a newer inflow from Indian buyers, and this is due to the unstable situation in the Gulf. You have a big circle of Indian investors who are investing a lot of capital in Dubai real estate market and Abu Dhabi real estate market. And now, since the situation is fragile, a lot of these investors are thinking twice before running to the Gulf markets, and Greece seems to be benefiting from that in terms of investment, but also in terms of tourism and hospitality. Now, concerning the profile, this is the interesting part. In the past, a lot of people used to buy the golden visa, take advantage of the minimum needed required stay in the country, so a lot of people would not visit. But you see now this as changing. You see people buying a property for golden visa, but also to put their property on the long-term rental market. And then the same person who has invested in a golden visa property goes to an area where they want to live, for example, the south coast of Athens. They rent a more premium or luxurious property, and they spend a decent part of the year in Greece. So there is a double benefit, let's say, where they invest in Greece initially in a property, they release the property in the long-term rental market, so the long-term rental market benefits, and then they go ahead and invest further in rent. So basically, they are more involved in Greece. And gradually, you also see people looking to establish companies, not just in the real estate sector or hospitality sector. We've seen a lot of investors who have the golden visa who are now starting some restaurants, taking Greek restaurant franchises to Egypt and to other countries. So we see the benefits evolving gradually over time.
Mr. Larin.
If we'll talk about the profile, most of the profile is high net worth individuals and ultra high net worth individuals. From my internal feelings, so there is no data that's, let's say, 10 to 20% of these people really staying in Greece. The other make this program and use this program to have
Actually,
possibility.
6% of the investors, they stay in their own properties.
Okay, so I was pretty close. Most of them used it for the kind of second home and for their family to provide education to the children. So the investor earn money in the country from where he's from, and his family most of the time stay here, kind of climate refugee. Nationalities, so the data is open. China is more than half of the market. The next country is Turkey. But from my point of view, the landscape will change significantly because of the changes in other countries that previously provide the golden visa programs. So after the Spain closed the program last year, definitely part of the traffic will reallocate to Greece. And Portugal start being tougher. The last news that I heard that 500 investors decide to sue the government of the Portugal because of they don't give them ID cards. So it means that people who previously used to apply for Portugal will come here in Greece, and I think that in the next 1-2 years we will see huge and significant changes in the, let's say, nationalities who apply. We have to take a look who was the main investor in Spain and who was the main investor in Portugal, and they will come here.
Thank you. Mrs. Pisoghianaki.
Well, of course, the profile has changed significantly over the past few years, since 2013. At first, the investors were coming only for the golden visa, but now we can see that they are looking for stability, they are looking for hospitality, they are looking for lifestyle relocation. So, of course, at first, the majority of the investors was coming from China, but the recent years, and this is very positive for the market, we can see that we have beyond the golden visa investors. Of course, a majority of our investors are coming for the golden visa, but this opened a window for the rest of the market to understand the Greece's advantages and that it's beyond the golden visa expectations. So people now are coming here and they want to invest, they want to come here, they want to live here, they feel security here. And I believe that this creates a very healthy market, because at the end of the day, this is what we want. We want a healthy market. So Greece now, it's not only a golden visa destination. Greece now is considered to be a major real estate and investment destination. And this is what we're looking for. This was the goal actually from the beginning. And this must make us feel all very secure and safe for the future of the real estate.
Thank you very much. I think after covering generalized points regarding the program and the profile of the investors, we can also talk about the future of the program. As we all know, with the changes that occurred from 1st of September of 2024, now the 250,000 euros threshold is only available from properties that they have a change of use, that are being converted from any other kind of use into residential. And let's be honest, 99.999% of the investors that are interested on the 250,000 euros threshold. I believe that this is a sequence that was because of the blame game that was occurred regarding Golden Visa, that Golden Visa was responsible and was for the housing crisis and for the increase of the properties prices and the rentals, which was totally unjustifiable. But regardless of that, the point is how you see the future of the program, how you see this limit that we have for the 250,000 euros threshold with only converted buildings. How many more converted buildings they are available and how it will be materialized into having products for the 250,000 euros threshold. Mr. Abbassi.
Great. So this adjustment in the law, in my opinion, has opened multiple opportunities. As you very correctly said, yes, the Golden Visa did play a role in the increase of real estate prices in Greece and in Athens. And it also did play a role in the increase of rental prices because a lot of these properties were then released into the vacation rental market such as Airbnb and Booking.com, etc. So with these changes of the law, a number of benefits have been identified. First of all, the foreign Golden Visa buyer is no longer competing for the same stock of properties as the local Greek buyer. The local Greek buyer or the local Greek resident is not buying converted properties. Therefore, they are not competing head-to-head where a Greek buyer is outbid by a foreign buyer because they're both trying to buy a residential property at 250,000 euros. So this law created a situation where instead of taking away from the Greek residential market and offering it to the foreign buyer, now we're adding to the residential market with the selected type of projects for the foreign Golden Visa buyer. This is benefit number one. Benefit number two, the restriction that has been imposed on the vacation type rental market. Therefore, these Golden Visa buyers have no choice but to release these properties that they have bought for the Golden Visa to the long-term rental market, hence increasing the supply of the properties available for rent. I will add one more benefit to give the opportunity to my colleagues to add more benefits. You mentioned how many commercial buildings are there. Yes, Athens will run out of old abandoned commercial buildings, but this gives another very important opportunity, which is investors looking at other cities, not just at Athens. For example, we have been investing and creating student housing projects and serviced apartment projects. We are now on the look for other cities that have a population of students where we can buy converted buildings, sell for Golden Visa, but then rent out to students in majority student cities. So this is a third benefit. I will stop there to give the opportunity to my colleagues to add more.
Mr. Larin.
To be honest, I quite disagree with you about that statement that the Golden Visa was the main reason why the housing crisis occurred in Greece.
No, actually, just to be correct, I'm the one of the persons that I state exactly the opposite. I said on my introduction that there are some people over there that they were stating that fact, and that is the reason the government made the change of the law. Like the first change the government did in 2023, and in 2024 was exactly because of this misinformation that the Golden Visa increase and is responsible for the properties prices and the rental prices. My opinion, it is exactly the opposite. That the Golden Visa assisted on decreasing the properties prices because from the 45,000 properties that were given to investors, the 30,000 of them were developed by developers that they wouldn't be developed if there wasn't the golden visa. So that is my opinion, just to Gregor, but please elaborate on yours.
Okay, so we're on the same page. We see the situation on a quite bigger picture, let's say. From our point of view, the main reason of the housing crisis was, first, the significant drop-off of the construction during the crisis. If you take a look on the government data about amounts of the construction permits that was given, the drop-off was from 9 million square meters a year up to 2.5 million square meters a year. And what does it mean? So every country, just to maintain the housing market, have to build around half square meter per person per year because of standard of living changes. You have to maintain and rebuild the old buildings. You have to build new ones. So it was huge lack of the newly built and newly renovated buildings, and it still occurred because of, from our assumption, it's from 18 up to 16 million square meters still now. The second part was the new business model of the Airbnb compete a lot against the short-term, long-term rental market, and there was no regulation until 2023. So, and from my point of view, the government make quite wise decision 2023, 2024. Why? So, first of all, they start to regulate the Airbnb market, and this market start being less profitable rather than long-term. Second part, they reallocate huge amount of the investments that came from abroad with the Golden Visa program. So we could assume that it might be close to 2 billion euro a year from the secondary market into the new development with this reconstruction of the commercial property. What does it mean? Developers, instead of secondary market, they involve huge amount of the other businesses, and the multiplicator for the GDP of the country much higher. Why? Because if you're a developer, first of all, okay, you have to buy the plot or the building. Next one, huge amount of the services, civil engineers, architects. After that, construction companies. All of these companies making the new places to work, they pay in salaries, people spend this money, so the money not comes directly to the private owner who keep it silent in his bank account. So the money is circulating a lot. And the last part, from my point of view, the great decision was to restrict renting out Golden Visa property short-term. So all of this property that was bought came on the long-term market, and they maintain and provide kind of affordable housing for the local market. So I recognize that maybe the marketing of this decision was not the best one, and people used to blame the easiest part. So Golden Visa, that could be. But at the same time, from my point of view, government make the great job and very healthy reallocate capital and maintain the market.
Mrs. Pισογιαννάκη.
Well, I agree with my fellow speakers that for sure the latest change is positive. There is a positivity because now we can have, instead of taking properties outside of the market, we are creating housing supply to the market. So this is very important. This is very beneficiary for the locals. Also, with this type of golden visa, with the conversion from commercial to residential, we are regenerating the neighborhoods. We are providing new infrastructures. We are giving life to buildings that were closed and empty for many years. So this is only beneficiary for the locals, for the market. People that can see that the properties that they were in neglected areas, now they are being transformed in neighborhoods, and also they can have a property price appreciation on their own apartments as well. Apart from that, we can all see that there is the demand and from the real estate, from the rentals as well. We can have more properties in order for the locals to be able to rent with affordable prices, because these properties, the latest change, will be used not for short term, but for long-term leases. So I believe that we should focus on the positive aspects, both for the golden visa investors, but also for the local market and the housing crisis that we might have the previous years, and stick to the positive that we are creating properties, we are creating housing supply.
Mr. Guan.
Yeah, I think they already finished all the positive part that I want to say. Actually, like
This is what happens when you're last. Sir.
About
That's why I'm doing a circle.
Yes, about the market now and about the rental, everything I think is very positive for the change. So maybe I will more focus on the future, because like this years when I stay here, every week there's a rumor about the golden visa is going to be changed and changed again. But for my point of the golden visa now, because we have a lot of positive things that now bring to the market, so I don't think it will be changed very soon, or it will keep more standard and more standard. Compared with the previous policy before, actually now it's more standard, and it bring the rental to another group of person. Before, maybe like we are doing the 70, 100 square meters, more big apartment, but the target will be like families. They are going to be benefit. But for students, for workers who like is working here, maybe single apartment is more benefit. So these things now is bringing to the market very soon. Also, in the golden visa industry, it's not only for golden visa, not only for real estate. It influences a lot of suppliers. Like golden visa links to the architecture, the constructors, materials. So it's the whole economic things of the country. And also the golden visa now is making the city more active. Actually, my personal experience, when I come here a few years ago, I feel very puzzled, like why there's a lot of abandoned building in the street and no one is running this. But after that, the new golden visa policy published, and now we can see the city is changing every month and every month. A lot of the new building bring here. Like a few days ago, I met a partner that he living very close to our projects. And when they see the new facade of the project, they feel very happy that we are bringing more new things to the country. So I think golden visa will keep a very long term, and it will do a lot of big positive benefit to the country. Thanks.
Thank you. At this point, before we go into more details, that we'd like to go to, if we have any questions. It will be great if you have some questions so you can have a live interference with the audience and see if there's any comments, any concerns, any questions we can accommodate. Please.
How, I believe it works. Thank you. Hello, dear guests. Happy to see you. With most of us, we already work, cooperate. I'm from Immigrant Invest. So I have a question. Most of our clients, when they ask about 250 option, these conversion options, they are asking, they are worrying about capital appreciation. So, and of course, we are aware that the prices sometimes they kind of too high, respectively, market prices. So in this case, how we can, maybe you can give some arguments to us, how we can explain that, yes, after 5 years, they can resell this property at maybe at the same price level or maybe at higher level. So this is the question.
Yes. I will go first on this, please, if you excuse me. First of all, I don't agree that the prices are high. We have to take it always into consideration, and we need to be speaking honestly here, that we all are aware that the majority of clients and investors for Golden Visa, they're coming from immigration companies or real estate agents that require a certain amount of commission, which is definitely different than the 2% that the Greek real estate agents get. So, from the other hand, I see that is the only difference over there. From the other hand, exactly that's what I asked the question earlier, that the conversion of these properties, they have many disadvantages. Most of these projects, they are projects without balconies, for example, or having no balconies in Greece for tenants that they will come to rent these properties afterwards, that will definitely be a challenge. So that is why in the previous question I asked about the future of the program, because in my opinion, the conversion of buildings, which was based on the fact that the Golden Visa is increasing the properties prices, was completely unjustifiable. And in my opinion, the program should go back to the way that it was, with and no restrictions whatsoever, in order to be able to give to the market the ability to develop evenly, since it is my strong belief, and I have explained that many times with numbers, that the Golden Visa not only has not played any role on increasing the properties prices, but on the contrary, if it wasn't for Golden Visa, the properties prices would have increased even more significantly, because all these buildings that they were developed by us, the developers, the construction companies, in order to give this surplus of properties, they wouldn't be developed if it was for the program. We need to understand that in Greece, we do not have a housing crisis on the ownership. We have a housing crisis on renting. That is the issue. Our country has 70% of people living on their own properties, which is one of the highest in the European Union. What is the issue? The issue is the percentage of the salaries that the tenants give for rent. This is the main concern. This is the huge problem, and that will even get worse over the years. So, from the one hand, the approach of the government into conversion of buildings that will add surplus of residential properties into the market for rent is a positive effect. From the other hand, identifying these projects, because the problem relies more in Athens. Athens has the big housing crisis on rent. So identifying these projects and be able to develop them, it will become more and more challenging over the past few years. Please, if anyone would like to add anything more.
I would like to add
please.
To Vaggelis, please. So I partially agree with Vaggelis and partially disagree on a couple of points. First of all, I would love to see the market open up and have less restrictions and regulations on the Golden Visa type of properties like you mentioned. But I think the advantage of having this restriction is basically less pressure on the government from, let's say, people who are against this program. It's easier to justify keeping this program open because of the pressure you might find from some opposing ideas, etc. So now, we actually see that foreign buyers are buying different types of properties from local buyers. So this is a point that can be used to answer the opposition of opening up the market or having the Golden Visa in general. So this is my main point concerning that. Now, the other potential benefit of keeping the law with these new regulations is that since commercial buildings in the market are similar, no balconies like you mentioned, etc., the more time passes and the more supply increases, developers are forced to create more value. So you mentioned that there could be, let's say, inflated prices. This could be true when the new law was initially launched, because there were very few conversion projects available in the market. But the more time passes, the supply is increasing, and developers have no choice but to add value to the foreign buyer and value to the potential tenant in the future, because a lot of the time, and I would say most of the time, this foreign buyer needs to have their property rented out after purchase. And if the property is not competitive, your competition will sell instead of you, and you will not be able to rent out the unit for your client. So this is the, let's say, answer concerning the potential inflation of some of the prices. And like Vaggelis very correctly said, a lot of immigration companies charge a lot. And this is most of the time the difference between the market price and the, let's say, slightly inflated price due to the very high commissions requested by some of the big immigration companies that sell Greece.
Mr. Larin.
Yes. I have controversial and opposing belief onto this matter.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Look, so first of all, about the appreciation. Every time that when someone tries to ask me about the appreciation, I always answer, have you ever seen the guy with the crystal ball? So who knows the future? No one. So if someone tells you that your property will raise up in the price 5% on average next 10 years, he's a liar. He don't know. No one's know. This is the first fact. The second fact is the best time to buy golden visa was 10 years ago, 2016, when the prices in Greece was ridiculously low. So currently this is the market, and what we see. So last year, correct me if I'm wrong, we saw around 9,000 appliances for the golden visa. Most of the people want to buy it for 250. This is the market. It's a few amount of the property that match these requirements. So it means that it's small buyer rather than supply, and the prices grows up. And client buying not only the property, but also the possibility to apply for the golden visa. If it will be more developers, if the banks provide better financial leverage, okay, so the prices will be rebalanced. But from my point of view, what we see, every time when something happened in the world, any unstable situation, so the conflict in the Middle East or political issues in other countries in the Middle East, so we see more and more people coming. So it means that, from my point of view, they blaming, they disagree with the prices, but they still buy because of this is the market, that is.
Regarding the point that you said about last year that we had 9,000 investors, we'll need to know on that unfortunately the Ministry of Immigration and Asylum right now examines the applications of April 2023. They're at that point. So when you see the results that being published by the Ministry of Immigration and Asylum about how many applications, they're at least 2 years back. So we don't know what is happening in the next 2 years until the only way is a contract, and we cannot have actually a pretty good understanding from that. So unfortunately, with the ministry being 2 years back on applying the applications, we cannot have a clear image about what is going on and what is happening regarding the changes that occurred. Firstly, on summer of 2023, with the increase of the central, the south, and the north sector to 500,000, and then with the new amendment of the law on the summer of 2024. Is anyone else who would like to add anything on the latest question?
I would like to add a little bit. So, for my point, appreciation doesn't because of the change of the policy. It doesn't because of golden visa. The appreciation based on real estate itself. So, because our background, actually, we are developing China before for around 33 years. And our projects always is the highest price in that city. But our client is the most of the city also, because client knows they buy the correct location. So after years, they have a very huge appreciation also. So it's the same logic for real estate, even in the market here for us. If the location, if the project itself is correct, the appreciation will be correct. So as I always told to my customers, never is late. Don't be the last to be to enter the market. So I think it will be my point, yeah.
Mrs. Pισογιαννάκη.
Well, a very brief point. It's all about the choices. Your clients can choose something that it's worth buying. We can have different kind of option of conversion properties of 250,000 euros. Of course, we can have that kind of properties that they're not in the premium areas, but we can have that kind of properties that they are close to the premium areas, and for sure, we have more potential in order to have the property price appreciation. Not all of the 250,000 properties for the conversion are the same, for sure. So this is a key point for the immigration agents, for the clients to trust their agents in order to partner with the right developers, the developers that they have been established for many years, that they have, you know, a good
Reputation.
Reputation is everything. Not the ones that they're just coming and they're building like one or two buildings and they're trying to benefit from this conversion. So this is very important. It's important where you should direct your clients and to buy properties from the companies, the developers, they are trustworthy.
Do we have any other questions apart from the lady? Anyone else? Any point that can be raised? Okay. I would like to, regarding some operational points, for us also as professionals, we are in the business, and for the audience that are interested on the topic, I have 3 points of concern. Okay. First of all, the first point of concern, and it's something that needs to be communicated. As we said, we are 100% honest here, and we're discussing about everything. There is a trend out there, mostly and especially in the Chinese market, that immigration companies and agents, they are promoting properties under 250,000 euros. Let me say to everyone, because as the president of the Association of the Société Anonymes Companies in Greece, we had a meeting with the minister, Mr. Plevris, of the Immigration Asylum on October 7th. And at that time, the message was very clear. We know, the government knows about this practice, is well aware about this practice, and they will figure out a way to stop it. Not only to stop it, but the people who are doing this, damage to the Greek investors' permanent residency program, the only thing that can lead is in a potential damage to the reputation of the program, and also to even a closure of the program. So we need to be very careful about what we're doing, what we are promoting, what we are cooperating. This needs to stop. Properties under 250,000 euros should have no place in the Greek investors' permanent residency program. This is the first. The second point that I would like to communicate is based on the changes that occurred in the 1st of September of 2024, and based on a directive that was issued on April 21st by the Ministry of Immigration and Asylum, the subleasing of properties is not allowed. Now, be very careful with this. This needs to be clarified. This is a huge point of concern. If we are not able to subleasing the client's properties, that means we cannot manage their properties, we cannot provide rental guarantees on the investors. Until this matter is clarified, which we hope, certainly we are working on it, and hopefully we will have soon some information. very careful on the matter of subleasing the properties as managing companies of the client's properties. The third point that I would like to bring into everyone's attention and get also your comments afterwards is the health insurances. The health insurance based again on the directive on the 21st of April by the Ministry of Immigration and Asylum, when the program started in May 2013, and all the years that an investor is keeping a permanent residency, a golden visa in the Greek Republic, needed to have a health insurance. Now, the ministry says that only on the first year of initial application and on the renewal, that means after 5 years, the investor needs to have a health insurance. That means that for 4 years, while in the golden visa's duration, the investor can potentially be uninsured. Again, this is a very serious point, something that needs to be clarified, and we are working on it because it is in our strong belief that the investor should be covered and have a health insurance for the whole duration of the time that they hold the Greek permanent residency. This is the 3 points of concern, and I would like you, please, panelists, your comments or to raise any other point you think it's worthy for discussion.
Okay, so I will go through the list that you provide and maybe add something else on top. For the practice of the reducing the price and finding the way how to pay back, so everyone in the market know that it exists, so it's not the new news. From my point of view, the regulation already changed, and less than a month ago, the government announced new rules on what is allowable and what is not, and they restrict the repay of the fixed income guarantee to the owner from the company's bank account. So that was the major practice. But my opinion is this practice will be disappeared by themselves because of the border how to entrance to the market. So if you take a look in 2020, for example, to start business in the Greek golden visa, it will be enough to have one person and buy the property from the secondary market and find out the client and resell. So the entry point to the market was zero. So everyone was able to do this. Currently, it doesn't exist. So it's only development companies and development projects. It means that you have to have team, you have to have equity, and the stronger and harder entrance to the market, so it will clean up the market by themselves, from my point of view. And definitely all the regulation are welcome, so if the government tells what and how to do, everyone wants to keep and be in the proper rules. On the property management agreements, I agree with you that it's not the wisest decision, and it's a huge operational disaster and headache. How to collect the money from the tenants, how to manage all of this. If you manage by the management agreement...
If you may, let me in this point, because exactly as you mentioned, and there is also another point that is similar to the properties management, and it refers to a decision that came from the tax authority in Greece. There was a directive that's supposed to take effect on the 1st of April of 2026, that the money from the tenants should only be deposited on the bank accounts of the owners. That means that we, the companies that we manage the properties of the clients, won't have the ability to get the money. With the actions of the Association of the Société Anonymes Companies in Greece and a meeting that we had with Mr. Pitsilis, we managed to have a postpone on that on the 1st of October of 2026. And the way that it will be solved is in the platform, in the platform on taxes. If you will be uploading the power of attorney that appoints you, the company or the individual, to be managing the property of the client, that will be sufficient in order to continue to do so. So I just added to that because exactly it was very relevant to the point that you raised.
Yes, a lot of the clients and the people who are not inside the industry think that property management company is a huge asset and you earn a lot of the money, but at the end, I assume that everyone agree who is here that it's not a business, it's a service. So you have to provide the service for the people who came abroad. They can manage it by yourself, and this is the part of end-to-end service that you provide. So it's endless headache that you have 24/7, and the more complicated operational-wise is this process, the worse. Could we handle this? Yes, definitely. By business, we will find out the way how to deal with it. Is this difficulties worth something or add the value to the government? To be honest, I don't think so. For the endpoint that you mentioned about the insurance, so from my point of view, to have insurance is a proper practice. But at the end, every person make his own decision. If something goes wrong and you broke the leg, and instead of using the insurance that you already have paid, you have to pay from your pocket. So this is, let's say, the fine of not being wise to doing this. But in general, I agree. So it's a peanuts when we talk about the overall expenses that the golden visa investor have. From 65 up to 200 euro, depends on the age. Come on, it's nothing. It's peanuts. So regulation-wise, I might add that sometimes it's not clear what kind of the property matched the 250 threshold and which not. For example, just right now it starts being visible that if you have the commercial property and you're capable legally to extend the surface of the property, that these new floors start being eligible for the golden visa for 250. So from my point of view, it's better to have, let's say, industry discussion on the regulation and requirements to the property. So what we could add on top. What kind of the property eligible? It have to be the commercial property from the establishment date, or what is the threshold? I know that there is kind of bad practice when people buy the residential, convert to commercial, and immediately back to residential, and it's not allowed. But okay, so when that transition from residential to commercial, proper one, 19th, 18th, 17th, no one's know. And I mostly have not a concern, but the wish that this area will be more visible, let's say.
Because we are in a time constraint, if you would like anything else to add, Mr. Pisoghiannaki, Mr. Guan, Mr. Abbassi.
Very short, just a small briefing because we have said a lot. First of all, yes, selling under 250,000 euros, it's illegal. We need to be strict, there need to be consequences, and that's it. The government should take measurements and actions against that. Second of all, the life insurances. Okay, we're talking about something minor. It's a minor issue in comparison with all of the rest. I'm not going to talk about it. Third of all, the property management and the subleasing. This is an issue. This is an issue for the investors. And of course, I would like to believe that the subleasing would apply for the short-term rentals and not the long-term rentals under
That's not accurate.
under the new policy. I'm waiting for a clarification
Right
on
now,
this.
it talks about the
But,
long-term without justifying it. It has
Okay,
not,
but-
the short-term is not allowed anyhow. So when the directive is talking about
Under the new
not
policy,
subleasing-
because we have many properties, the
Yes,
property
under the new
management does not
policy we are
apply
talking.
only
So
for
when
the
we-
new
so when the-
properties.
when the-
Majority
the
of us will
directive-
have properties, we have,
Yes.
we are doing
So
the
when the
property
directive is
management
talking
for
about
over
the
past 10 years.
subleasing, it
So
refers to
please let
long
me, because
and
I would like
short
to
term.
speak like I want to be very brief with my points. Thank you. So we're waiting to see the clarifications. And of course, it's not only for the new investors, because we have a responsibility for our old investors as well of what is going to happen. And I believe that we're going to wait until October for the previous investors and now the clarifications for our new investors under the new policy.
One last quick point, if you don't mind, please. You mentioned the rental guarantees. This is an issue, and it's an issue we face when we are selling our projects and our properties. We come across a lot of clients and a lot of immigration companies, etc. They inform us that X developer is offering guaranteed 5% rental yield over 3 years, over 5 years. I've even heard 10 years, okay? And the first question to ask them is, okay, what happens after the 3-year period? Will you still be able to generate this illusion of ROI of 5% yield after 3 years, or will the developer tell you, sorry, the market dropped, you're getting now 1.5%? So this is an issue that we face when we're speaking with clients, because a lot of clients, they want to hear some sort of guarantee. A proposal to approach that in a different way would be, for example, and I would like your opinion on that as well, because this is something we brainstorm with our clients. We tell them that give us 4 months after delivery, after utility connections, etc., allow us to find you a tenant with the conservative estimated rental market value. So we tell them your property, we believe it can generate X in terms of euros because of its characteristics, etc., according to market data. We will go with the conservative part, and we tell you, give us 4 months after delivery to find you this profile of tenant that we describe and we promise. If we fail to find you a tenant in 4 months, allow us to be like your partners. We will rent your property for this period until we replace ourselves with a real tenant paying real rent, and we connect you directly to the tenant. We can do property management that is paid after the landlord receives their rent. They can pay us our fee, but this is a middle ground solution that we discuss with our clients, for example.
Mr. Guan?
So, quick sum up, because I think the gentleman is waiting. Yeah, I agree with those points, and also, like, since we came here, I face the same problem with them also. So I think more standard is very good for the market, actually. The government should take some actions to have more and more standard for this kind of policy, and the market will be more healthy. As I always told to the friends here also, like, we should build up the cake bigger together, not to make something very weird, to steal the cake from others. So I agree with those points, actually. Yeah.
Great. So, a warm thank you for the whole group. Okay. We hope we address all the points regarding the program.